Hello, everyone. I wish you all a wonderful and peaceful day. Today, we're diving deep into a story where happiness turns into heartbreak and trust is shattered by suspicion. Just when Tam was beginning to heal, a single bowl of fruit raised terrifying questions. Was it a tragic accident or something far more sinister? Stick around till the end to find out the shocking truth. If you enjoy these emotional stories, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next. Let's begin. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing this incredibly emotional and heavy story that's filled with pain, suspicion, and unspoken family secrets. So if you're new here, make sure you watch the previous part first, because this one picks up right where the heartbreak left off. In the quiet, heavy atmosphere of the house, Quinn's mother sat all alone, her face etched with deep worry and torment that seemed to weigh down her entire body. She kept wondering over and over how Tam was doing right now, whether Tam still believed her or had already decided in her heart that she was the one who pushed her. The pain tore at her heart as she repeatedly insisted to herself that she had never harmed anyone in her entire life. Tam was her future daughter-in-law, someone she genuinely loved and cared for like her own child. She remembered so clearly the moment Tam used to call her uncle with that warm, trusting smile. But in the blink of an eye, everything had turned completely against her. She worried deeply whether Quinn still believed her words, even though he had said he would stand by her. But what if everyone else kept blaming her and pointing fingers? The words, "if only," kept echoing endlessly in her mind. If only she had kept Tam from walking away that day. If only she had held her hand tighter. If only none of this nightmare had ever happened. The remorse consumed her completely, making her blame herself for causing Tam to lose the child. She didn't know if Tam still hated her or if the pain had already turned into permanent resentment. The whole room felt suffocating with sadness and guilt, and every single word she whispered to herself in the silence cut like a sharp knife deep into her heart. She was trapped between the crushing pressure of everyone's suspicion and her own genuine, sincere affection for Tam that now seemed broken beyond repair. But even heavier than her pain was the suffering Tam was enduring. Tam lay motionless on the bed, her face pale and drained of all color, her eyes completely empty as she stared blankly at the ceiling above. When her mother carefully brought in a warm bowl of porridge and gently tried to help her sit up so she could eat something to regain strength, Tam slowly shook her head in quiet refusal. Her voice came out weak and broken as she said she didn't want to eat anything at all. The pain of losing her child was still so fresh and raw inside her chest. She kept tormenting herself with the painful thought that if she had just made it through a few more months, she could have finally held her baby in her arms and felt that warmth against her skin. She never even got the chance to call out her child's name or whisper a single lullaby. Her mother looked so worried and kept urging her softly to eat at least a little to regain some strength. But Tam had already sunk so deep into her sorrow that she didn't want to hear anything anymore. The room grew stifling with heavy, painful silence. Only her mother's gentle whispers of encouragement could be heard, mixed with Tam's tired, exhausted refusals. Regret and despair completely overwhelmed Tam's mind, turning every single spoonful of porridge into something unbearably bitter that she simply could not swallow. She was caught helplessly between the beautiful, once hopeful dream of becoming a mother and the cruel, unforgiving reality that had suddenly stolen her child away, leaving an empty space in her heart that nothing could ever fill again. Then, without warning, the storm that had been building inside the family finally exploded right there in the room. The atmosphere grew incredibly tense and thick as Tam's mother and Quinn's mother started arguing again, their voices rising sharper with every word. Tam's mother looked directly at Quinn's mother with eyes full of suspicion and openly questioned why everything had happened so fast that day. Quinn's mother tried desperately to explain herself but kept getting interrupted before she could finish a single sentence. Tam lay right there in the middle of the heated argument, exhausted and physically weak, pleading in a broken, desperate voice, "Mum, please just sit still." Her tone carried so much despair because she simply could not bear any more pressure on top of her already shattered heart. The two mothers kept going back and forth, their words becoming more accusatory as they argued about who was truly right and who had caused this terrible tragedy. Tam begged everyone again and again to stop, saying with what little strength she had left that she couldn't take it anymore. The tension kept rising higher and higher until it felt like the air itself was about to snap. Sharp, painful words flew across the small room like knives, pushing Tam even deeper into a state of complete physical and mental exhaustion. She was caught helplessly right in the eye of the storm of suspicion, blame, and her own unrelenting, overwhelming pain that refused to let her breathe. Right in the middle of all this chaos and heartbreak, Tin knew he could no longer just sit and watch. He made up his mind and left the house determined to find real answers. He went to meet the doctor at a small, quiet roadside drink stall. In a very serious and direct tone, Tin asked clearly whether Tam's miscarriage was caused only by the fall, or if there were other hidden factors involved. The doctor explained carefully that there had been a strong impact on her body even before the fall, along with abnormal contractions that shouldn't have happened. He also quietly suspected there might have been some kind of foreign substance that had affected her. Tin listened with full attention, his face showing clear worry mixed with a strong, burning determination to uncover the truth no matter what it took. That short but heavy conversation carried an enormous pressure that changed everything. It opened up new and much darker suspicions about what had really caused the tragedy that destroyed Tam's future and broke the entire family apart. When Tin finally returned home, the atmosphere inside the house became even heavier and more uncomfortable than before. He sat down right beside Tam's bed and asked her straight away, without holding back, about anything unusual she might have eaten in the past few days, especially focusing on the fruit that Quinn's mother had brought over. Tam answered quietly that she had been eating normally, just rice and some fruit like she always did. But Tin remained deeply suspicious, and kept pressing for more details. When the fruit was mentioned again, Quinn's mother was suddenly pulled into the conversation. She insisted nervously that there was nothing strange about it at all. The air in the room grew tense, like a string pulled so tight it was about to break at any second. Then Tin made a cold, firm statement that shocked everyone present. He would investigate every single person involved, including his own mother, if necessary. Tam looked completely exhausted and drained, but Tin stood there with unbreakable determination in his eyes, ready to find whoever was truly responsible for what had happened to the woman he loved and the child they had lost. Fan 2, 1310-2. Hey everyone, continuing straight from that intense moment when Tin stood firm with unbreakable determination in his eyes, declaring he would investigate every single person involved, including his own mother. The weight of his words still hanging heavily in the air as he left Tam's side for a while and headed back home with a heart full of conflict and responsibility. When he stepped inside the house, he found his mother, Quinn's mother, sitting all alone in the dim, quiet room, looking completely drained and heartbroken. She hadn't touched any food since the tragedy unfolded. Her shoulders slumped forward as if the entire burden of suspicion and guilt was crushing her down. Tin walked over slowly, sat right beside her, and gently pulled her into a warm, protective embrace without saying anything at first. In that tender, silent moment between mother and son, he comforted her with sincere and heartfelt words, telling her directly from the bottom of his heart that he believed she had never intended to harm Tam in any way. He reassured her softly that he knew her kind and gentle character better than anyone else in the world. His mother's eyes immediately filled with fresh tears as she looked up at him with trembling lips and asked in a shaky, emotional voice whether he truly believed her or if deep down he also suspected her like everyone else. Tin held both of her hands tightly, looked straight into her eyes, and answered with a calm but firm tone that yes, he believed her innocence, but at the same time, he still had to find out the complete truth for Tam's sake, for the family's sake, and for his own peace of mind. The atmosphere between them slowly warmed up with genuine love and understanding, even though the lingering torment, pain, and unresolved suspicions from the miscarriage still hung heavily in the air like a dark shadow that refused to leave. His mother cried softly against his shoulder, whispering through her tears that as long as her son trusted and stood by her, she could endure all the accusations and painful gossip coming from others. She spoke with deep sorrow about how much pain Tam must be enduring right now, how she wished more than anything that she could turn back time to prevent that terrible fall and the devastating loss of the unborn child. Tin listened patiently and compassionately, gently stroking her back and promising that he would do everything in his power to protect both sides of the family while continuing the investigation until the real cause was uncovered. He reminded her gently to take care of herself, to eat something, and to rest without overthinking the rumors and blame swirling around them like a storm. As long as they stayed united and strong together as mother and son, he believed the truth would eventually come to light and clear away all the darkness. The conversation was filled with raw, deep emotion, beautifully mixing the unbreakable bond of motherly love with the painful reality of lingering doubts and unanswered questions that still haunted every corner of their daily lives. Even though his mother gradually felt a little more at ease and comforted by her son's trust and support, the heavy agony over Tham's immense suffering, the uncertain future of the wedding, and the fragile family happiness continued to weigh heavily on her heart, like an invisible burden she couldn't put down. Tin stayed with her a little longer, making sure she felt less alone and less afraid in her pain, before he promised to return soon to continue taking care of Tham with the same dedication. He told her softly to rest well, eat properly, and try not to let the suspicion break her spirit, because he would always be there for both her and Tham. The story slowly drew to a close in this bittersweet mixture of lingering torment, quiet but powerful family love, and a small, flickering hope that the full truth about the fall, the mysterious fruit, and the real reason behind the heartbreaking miscarriage would finally be revealed one day. No one could say for certain yet whether it was truly just a tragic accident or something far darker and more sinister hidden deep within the family. The pain had touched every single person involved so deeply that it changed their relationships forever, creating cracks of doubt that might take a very long time to heal. But in the middle of all that darkness and uncertainty, the strong bond between Tin and his mother, together with his unwavering love and care for Tham, remained the only steady light guiding them forward through the storm. What had started as a joyful announcement about a wedding date had spiraled into a nightmare filled with suspicion, devastating loss, endless questioning, and emotional exhaustion that refused to end. Only time, patience, and a thorough search for the truth would show whether this wounded family could slowly heal, or if the hidden secrets would eventually tear them apart completely. If you've been following this deeply emotional journey with us, you already understand how quickly life can flip from moments of hope and happiness to complete heartbreak and confusion in the blink of an eye. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe Quinn's mother is truly innocent? Or do you think there might be something more hidden behind that fruit and the sudden fall? Have you or someone in your family ever faced similar painful suspicion and loss? I read every single comment, and your personal stories truly touch my heart. If this episode moved you or made you reflect on family bonds and trust, please give it a like. Share it with anyone who might need to watch this kind of story. And subscribe while turning on notifications so you never miss the next part, where the investigation continues and more shocking truths may come to light. Thank you so much for staying with us until the very end of this heavy but meaningful video. Stay strong, take good care of your loved ones, hold them close, and I'll see you again very soon in the next video. After surviving the painful miscarriage, Tham lies weak on her bed, refusing food as she grieves the child she never got to hold. While her mother and Quinn's mother argue heatedly beside her, Tin takes action. He secretly meets a doctor who reveals the miscarriage may not have been caused only by the fall. Something else, possibly a foreign substance, could have triggered it. Returning home, Tin questions Thắm about the fruit Quinn's mother had brought earlier, raising heavy suspicion. He boldly declares he will investigate everyone, even his own mother. Later, Tin comforts his tearful mother, assuring her he believes she is innocent. Yet he is determined to uncover the full truth. The family remains torn between love, doubt, and the desperate search for answers.